So in today's world of agriculture, farmers are facing this huge question. How do you make a living? How do you stay profitable while also taking care of the planet? You know, it's a question that takes more than just a gut feeling to answer. It really demands smart, data-driven decisions. So let's dive into how they're figuring it all out.
And this, right here, this is the million-dollar question, isn't it? We hear all these buzzwords: sustainable innovations, eco-friendly farming. But for the people who actually work the land, it all boils down to one simple thing. Does it make financial sense? Can you actually do good for the environment and for your bottom line at the same time?
Well, the great news is we don't have to just guess. Scientists have come up with a really powerful way to get real answers. And it all starts in places that look just like this. A real-world field, an experimental plot where different farming ideas are put to the test, right next to each other.
Okay, to really understand how this whole scientific approach works, let's get specific. Let's focus on a really practical problem. Just imagine for a second that you're an artichoke farmer. For years, you've been using plastic film for mulch. It works, sure, but you know deep down it's not great for the environment. So, you want to make a change, but what do you switch to?
I mean, there are tons of new sustainable options popping up, things like mushroom substrate, wheat straw, even rice husks. They all sound so much greener, right? But are they actually worth the money and the effort to make that switch? That is the huge question every farmer has to ask.
And this is where the solution comes into play. To solve these kinds of dilemmas, researchers use this incredibly powerful tool. It's called a cost-benefit analysis, or CBA for short. And it's designed to bring cold, hard data into what can be a really complex, emotional decision.
So what is it exactly? Well, at its heart, a cost-benefit analysis is just a really organized way of adding everything up. You list out all the negatives, the costs, on one side, and all the positives, the benefits, on the other. Then you compare them. It takes all the guesswork out of the equation. It's just about the numbers.
The process itself is just so logical. Honestly, you can think of it like balancing a super detailed checkbook for the future of the farm. First, you list every single cost you can think of. Then, you do the same for every single benefit. And finally, you put them on the scale and see which way it tips.
Now, getting that first step right is absolutely crucial. So let's take a closer look at how researchers track down every single cost. Because in an analysis like this, the little details, they really do matter.
You see, not all costs are created equal. They usually get split into two big buckets. On one hand, you have your fixed costs. These are the big one-time investments you need to get going, like buying major equipment. And then you have your variable costs. These are the ongoing expenses that can change from season to season, like water or labor. And here are a few real-world examples to make it clear. A fixed cost would be something like that big irrigation network you install once. But the variable costs, that's the stuff you pay for over and over. The actual water running through the pipes, the cost of paying people to harvest, or the money you spend on herbicides. Every single cent is tracked.
Okay, so we've tallied up all the costs. Now let's flip over to the other side of the ledger, the benefits. And this is where it gets really fascinating, because a benefit in this kind of analysis is so much more than just how much money you make selling the crop.
The true power of a CBA is that it totally expands your idea of what a benefit is. It doesn't just ask, how much money did we make from artichokes? It asks deeper questions, like, how efficiently did we use our water? Or even, did this have a positive impact on our local community? For example, here's a key metric they measure that you might not expect: the number of local farm jobs created per hectare. And a hectare, by the way, is roughly the size of a soccer field. So this shows that the analysis isn't just about profit or the environment, it's also about the social good, like creating jobs. It's a truly complete picture.
All right, so we have our toolkit now, we get how to count the costs, we get how to measure the benefits. So let's go back to our artichoke farmer and see how researchers actually put this cost-benefit analysis to work to solve that real-world mulch problem.
So here are the contenders in the big test. The scientists set up 6 different methods, which they call treatments. You've got the old standard, the plastic mulch. Then you have 3 different organic options: mushroom substrate, wheat straw, and rice husks. And finally, you've got 2 control groups with no mulch at all. One where they weed by hand, and another where they use herbicide.
And hey, remember this photo from the beginning? This is that experimental plot in Murcia, Spain. This is where it all happened. Each one of those 6 methods was tested right here, side by side, so the scientists could measure every single cost and every single benefit for each one and see which approach really, truly was the best.
So what did they find? The results were fascinating.
Turns out, while the traditional plastic mulch was pretty effective, the full analysis showed that one of the organic options, the mushroom substrate, wasn't just more sustainable, it was actually more profitable over the long run. Why? Because it improved the soil health and helped it hold more water. And that is why this matters. This data-driven approach gives us a real roadmap for a future where farming can be both profitable and sustainable.
So here's the big takeaway from all this. This kind of analysis transforms a really tough decision from pure guesswork into an actual science backed by hard data. It proves that you can find solutions that are win-wins, good for the planet and good for the wallet. By looking at that whole picture, the economic, the environmental, and the social impacts, it helps farmers make much smarter, much more resilient decisions for the future.
And that kind of leaves us with a final thought, doesn't it? This is about more than just a tool for farming. It's really a way of thinking. So, what if we apply this same rigorous process, systematically weighing every single cost against every single benefit to all the other big, complex challenges we face? What else might we discover?